We are down the street from a police station.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So.
Hello, and welcome to the second issue of ComiCentric. I'm here with my best friend Pete, hanging out again in Nostalgics Comics. Gonna go ahead and try it for issue number 2. Today we're gonna discuss the age-old question: Marvel or DC? As in Marvel Comics or DC. Where do you stand? Marvel obviously knows what we stand for, Marvel Comics, but DC, what does that stand for?
They used to be Detective Comics.
You keep telling me that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe you. But anyway, stick with us. We'll be right back. Hello again. And if you just joined in us, obviously they're not. So
No.
Hi, and welcome back to ComiCentric. As I was saying earlier, today we're going to discuss Marvel versus DC.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, both big powerhouses in their own respective worlds. It's like, U.S. versus Russia. Rocky versus, what's his name? Is that word?
Apollo Creed?
No, the other guy, the Russian.
Freaking Drago.
Irvin Drago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What are you talking about?
I am out of it, so let's just do it all over again. All right.
So
You just start talking. Yeah. Marvel versus DC.
Yeah, it's weird because I think a lot of people, they have that mentality, and this has bled into the movie stuff, and I feel like the people,
they love it one way or the other.
Yeah, and then it's like the craziest thing is, to me, it's very confusing. Is it like just because you like something doesn't mean you have to hate
the other
side, and then which I don't understand. It's just entertainment.
Yeah, and most of the characters are kind of the same.
Yeah,
and that's where a lot of people draw their differences. They're like, "Oh, this guy's too close to Superman. Why am I gonna be looking at another Superman when I'm not gonna be cheating at another Superman?"
Yeah, no, I mean I get that, but I think it's very like this weird brand loyalty. I mean, when it comes to certain things, that doesn't make sense. It's like like sport. It's a weird like sports rivalry, but it doesn't make sense. It's not real.
It's same person, different.
Because like we have customers here, who when Brian Michael Bendis was the biggest name at Marvel, it's one guy. I'm not gonna name
him. You are.
Yeah, he loved him.
Yeah,
if like Bendis was on that book, he was on that book.
It's his.
Yeah. As soon as he left to DC, he was like, Bendis is dead to me.
Oh, wow.
Like he was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. He would say how much he sucked and how this is that.
Do you think he felt betrayed?
I think so. I think it was very like, it's a brand loyalty.
But I mean, he loves the guy.
Yeah.
How can he not follow him?
That's what I was trying to explain to him. Like, because I remember Bendis early days of Image.
Yeah.
And that Bendis is way different than the Marvel Bendis. But I don't know.
Yeah, his eccentricities have changed so much.
Yeah.
It's a whole different Bendis.
So like like I said in the last episode, I follow comic books for the writers, and nowadays I feel like writers jump back and forth. There's no real such thing as like exclusive contract,
loyalty to a brand, if you will. Okay.
Because even like back in the day when they did that gimmicky like Stan Lee writing DC books,
that
was a big deal because. And then never happened.
But you got a gold Superman.
Yeah. But it's not a thing. Like it's not a thing anymore. Like I think that ended in like maybe the 90s.
Well, I mean, look at artists. Artists do the same thing. Like you were telling me earlier, Momoko just got out of her contract, so now she's going to Image and other places. It's a thing. They have to move. They have to keep making money. They have to keep evolving and growing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand. Like people getting upset about that. I mean, I get like I've never read. Well, no, it's not true. I've never gotten into a Valiant comic. But if someone, like Jeff Lemire was writing Deadshot. Not Deadshot,
Bloodshot.
I never read those comics before. And I like Jeff Lemire, so I was like, I'll check this out. And it was interesting. I didn't know anything about the thing, But a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people are like if it's either their studio and that's it, And I just don't get that mentality.
They'll only buy Marvel. They'll wait.
Yeah.
They'll wait, and they'll say, "Marvel, this is my guy. This is my person." And what about the DC? I mean, what big difference have you seen as for the people that collect Marvel only and collect DC only?
You know what? The people that get Marvel only are way more susceptible or open to getting variant covers. Because DC doesn't really do that. They'll do like A/B covers.
Yeah.
And they'll do like 1 in 25 and stuff like that. Marvel, they'll give you fucking 8 covers for one issue, And I think people that are Marvel heads, they're really, I'll do that one, I'll do that one, like, and it's good. I guess it's a good gimmick, but I mean,
they end up buying 2 of the same issue sometimes.
The one thing that always drives me nuts, man, about hardcore Marvel people, they'll always complain about how DC reboots all the time, and that's not really true. I think the last time they rebooted was the New 52, which was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they did the Rebirth, which was just kind of like a renumbering, but it built off of what New 52 was going on.
Right.
And before New 52, I mean, the last reboot was, I think, Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was in the 80s.
Wow, that was a while.
And it just trips me out that people complain about that, but at the same time, when all that was happening, when the New 52 was happening, people were like, oh, yeah, they're just rebooting because they don't know what they're doing, blah, 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 right? Marvel would literally have an annual event which tied everything together.
Right, okay.
And at the end of the event, all the books would go back to number 1. And it was post whatever this event world. And I'm like, dude, they do the same thing. It's it's even worse. They do it every year.
I remember when they did that and they had new numbers, but at the same time, the old numbers right on top.
Oh, no, that's a thing now because they're trying to play both sides. Because, okay, so the Marvel's argument is people don't like big numbers on their books because they feel oh, this is overwhelming, right?
Yeah, Superman technically should be over 1,000
books.
Yeah,
okay. So so what they do now is they'll renumber stuff.
Right.
So every time a new creative team comes on, it's oh, this is number 1. But once it gets to they'll keep track of the legacy number, which is the number it should be. And once it hits an anniversary, once it hits a 100
or 1,000,
they'll fucking change it back. And that's even more confusing because then all of a sudden you'll have number 15 and number 715.
Yeah. And that's what actually turned me off to the Superman books. I was like, I don't get it. I don't want to get it.
Which, because then they double dip because they play both sides because the Superman book, Action Comics. I was actually talking to someone earlier about this today. Supposedly Spider-Man's going to hit 900. Which I don't feel like that's a true 900 because at one point Spider-Man was a weekly book.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not the same thing,
Well, for years in 52 in a year, that's still a long time.
It's a lot of books. I mean, you're getting 100 for 2 years,
boy.
Yeah. So
kudos by the way, whoever has all these.
Right. But other than Action Comics and the Detective Comics, I think those are true 1,000 issues. I mean, I think there was a time where I think after Infinite Crisis, I think Detective Comics became a weekly book for a couple months. But yeah, no, Spider-Man there was a Deadpool 900 a couple years ago, and I'm like, how?
Is it a future book maybe?
No, it was just that they were claiming that they hit that.
All right, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I mean, that brings us back. I mean, what kind of people would be excited about that as compared to the DC numbering system?
Yeah, well, so I feel like DC, even though the Infinity 2 and all that nonsense, it has a richer history where it's DC has a history with writers where they try to make everything work. Something like Grant Morrison when he was doing Batman Incorporated. He did a whole run where he somehow made it work where every era of Batman
was real
to our current Batman.
Yeah.
Freaking Batman 66 was the 5th year he was Batman. And so they explained a lot of that. And it was interesting. Because a lot of times they'll just forget about that stuff and they'll be like, it's dumb, and
Yeah. They bring out the gloves, purple gloves.
Yeah.
Batman, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And they play a lot of that stuff. Or Marvel, I feel like Marvel just goes with the flow and it's just whatever people like, we're doing that.
They like Carnage, we get Carnage. Yeah.
And so for instance, and I think that it's annoying, but I kind of get it, is when they'll change an established character to look or to have a certain backstory tied to the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
And
I understand that because it's smart in a way because
people understand it and grab it easier.
Because the thing is, I think that's the hardest part with these movies. They don't fucking communicate with each other because people go out there and watch a Doctor Strange movie, right? The new Doctor Strange movie, and they might get all into it and be like, "Oh, this is cool," and then they come to get the most recent Doctor Strange book. He's dead.
He's dead.
You know,
who is this woman?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So like, it's like, and they've tried to do it in the past. Where like, I think when the first Avengers movie came out, they launched this book called Avengers Assemble, and it was Bendis and Mark Bagley did this book, and it was the movie Avengers, but it was the comic book versions, but that was that team.
Okay.
And they were in, and they introduced Avengers Tower.
Okay.
Like the movie, and it was just very like oh.
But it doesn't tie into the movie.
No, it's like set in the continuity, the main continuity, but it's like but it's the team, and it's as close as you can get to, you know.
So the multiverse opened up, and it was another branch.
No, I wish I feel like that would be like simpler than what they did. It was just kind of like, it's just like, oh, we know these characters, and this is the best we can give you. You know,
that's a little disappointing.
You know, but and like what's it like Chip Zdarsky? He's about to take over the main Batman book. They just revealed. Usually, when they have a big name writer come in, they'll change a lot. Like they'll change the title font and all that, right?
Okay.
The freaking font, the new Batman logo is basically the movie, the Rob Pattinson logo. It's so weird. Like it's so like I don't know. Like it's just like, okay, so this is what we're doing now. Like, you know.
Well, they'll do that to all of them. Watch it. You're gonna see Moon Knight change in a couple.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know. I mean, Bendis did that with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No.
You know, because before the movie came out, they were in those classic like blue matching suits and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when Bendis took over, he put Star-Lord in the red jacket. He gave him the headphones and all that. And it's like,
yeah. Before that, he was wearing like a helmet, blue and yellow outfit. All of them were blue and yellow outfits.
But the thing I think is really fascinating with Marvel and DC people is in the movies, like DC fans like love dark movies. Like they're so dark, and they fucking love that. DC comics have never really been dark. I mean, with your occasional like like if you're talking like 90s and like Frank Miller stuff, like I get that. But I think the closest thing to like the Batman, the comic book version of Batman is like Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
Like I feel like that's the thing that's missing in these movies is that Batman is not an adventurer.
Batman, no. Yeah.
He's just this fucking brooding detective, and not even a detective at the time. He just like beats the crap out of people, and like and it's just so weird to me. Like I always felt that like it's crazy to me that like Marvel movies are so much more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Than a DC movie, because in the comics it's like the opposite. Like Marvel comics are pretty heavy, man. Marvel.
They'll give you a lot,
and
you have to swallow a lot with Marvel movies. And DC movies, you're brooding, you're going, and you know where you're going with that. And Marvel movies, you're rooting, you're cheering. You know, example, the new Batman. I wasn't rooting or cheering for Batman. I was kind of just on the edge of my seat, like, oh, this is happening. When I go see a Marvel movie, like for example, Morbius, I was like, get this guy for as weird as it was, I was rooting for that guy.
Yeah,
yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think they I think my biggest complaint have always been like the freaking Snyder Superman movies.
Which one?
Like Man of Steel.
Okay.
That movie, like it bummed me out so much because it was just such a depressed Superman.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think that's like the weird thing is it's like oh, it's not fun to be a superhero. Like,
and he doesn't catch a plane.
No,
he doesn't catch a plane.
Like I remember I got into it with someone because a friend of mine posted a meme. It's that like changed my mind meme, like where it's the guy on the table.
Yeah.
And it said like Henry Cavill is the best living live action Superman. And I said, you know what?
Brandon Roth? You really gonna Brandon Roth?
No, not only that, but I feel like I even think the dude on TV is like cooler than that dude.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I get it. He looks the part, whatever, but like, he's just so moody and he's so like
the TV when you're talking Lois and Clark guy, right?
No, the Superman Lois.
Lois, yeah.
Like I like that dude. Like like.
I was talking Dean Cain. I'm sorry.
No, he went crazy, right?
Yeah. It's all right. Leave him alone.
No, don't get him alone.
He wasn't Supergirl for a while.
Yeah, he was her father-in-law or something.
Yeah.
That was her dad, right?
Yeah.
Or
Earth Dad.
Earth Dad, yeah.
Earth Dad. But yeah, I get it. They're DC people are broody, and you know, they like to be the broody, I guess.
Which is funny because I think like the CW shows at the height of their popularity, they're pretty cool. Like, I mean, Arrow was pretty dark early on, but it eventually, like, you know,
once it got a bigger cast,
it calmed down, and
it was all about family.
Yeah. Okay. And so, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But then there's just people who get both. People that swing both ways. AC/DC. I mean, what stops them? I've always collected both. I've never really stopped collecting both. I mean, I always found, like I said, I started like Superman, Batman's, and stuff like that. And normal people get on the Marvel side. Yeah, it was like some X-Men, random X-Men books and so. And I really like both of them.
Yeah.
I don't understand people that say I'll only stick to one. I won't read the other one.
Yeah.
Especially if they're following writers.
Yeah.
And they're following them to, you know, wherever they go. That's not being a groupie. That's just you know, a weather fan, if you will.
But, yeah, I think the writing is really important, man. Because I remember like growing up, I knew a guy that loved Thor, and I never understood it. Like I never like I liked them on the Avengers, like in team up books, but like I would read his book and I'm like, I don't get this.
Well, back then they also did the Yi and the and they did that all.
And it wasn't until Dan Jurgens, who's my favorite Superman writer, took over Thor, and I'm like, all right, I'll give this a try. And then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. This is interesting. You know, like,
was he still talking with the D's?
No, they changed all that.
Die.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the creative team is very important. Where it's like this characters now, I really didn't even care about, but like certain creative teams will work on that character. I'm like, oh, I'll check it out. And then usually,
for example, that new Hulk.
Yeah,
that looks too intense even for me.
It's pretty intense, man.
Yeah, and I like intense books.
Yeah.
But that is something I was tripping out on. The guy, what's his name?
Donny Cates.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then you got freaking Ryan Otley, the artist on Invincible, drawing the Hulk.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. And that's weird. What? I mean, these are the people that got these books.
Yeah. But it just, I don't know. I don't understand the brand
mentality.
Yeah. It's like there's a weird rivalry, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Roosevelt versus Garfield. Yeah.
But I wonder if it's like Stan Lee's fault, because you'd always talk about that. You were talking about like, oh, the DC was a distinguished competition. You know, like, I wonder if that's a whole thing, like his whole mentality. We grew up with like, oh no, it's make mine Marvel.
Make mine Marvel. Good job.
You know, and it was just like, I wonder if that has something to do with it. You know.
Yeah. So, okay, now here's my next question. How would you describe the average, typical Marvel fan when you look at them?
Oh, man. Like, I feel like Marvel fans are hardcore, man. Marvel fans are like, they really get into stuff. Marvel fans...
They'll wear the shirt.
Oh, yeah. But Marvel fans, surprisingly, and they're more up for big events. Like, Marvel gets them every time. I would have an event, and it's like, oh, Dark Reign, and it's like Dark Reign Spider-Man, Dark Reign, and there's people that are like, gotta get it all. Like,
So DC people don't bother like that.
Yeah, because I feel DC, like, I think they've learned that doesn't work.
They've learned.
Yeah, and so like DC is kind of old school. Instead of doing like, they'll still do it every once in a while, but they're more old school. They'll be like, okay, there's gonna be an issue of Flash that ties into this, but it's not like super important, but it does give you another layer of, like, you know,
C issue X.
Yeah. Okay. And like I always tell people, like, my rule of thumb is, when it comes to a DC event, if the writer of the event is writing that issue, get it. It's gonna be important.
You know? It's gonna be key things in there that you're gonna need to know. But if some Yahoo that you've never even heard of is doing it, maybe it depends on who's drawing it.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, like, I think that's like for instance, like, I forgot what the event was called, but they did these weird like annuals that told like Silver Age stories of these individual characters. I never gained them all because like it seemed interesting, and it wasn't. But
like, it was Origins,
kind of.
Okay.
But I remember like that was like the first time like there was an Atom one shot.
Oh.
and Jeff Lemire wrote that.
Oh,
that was the first Jeff Lemire thing I ever read, and I was like, this guy's kind of cool.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire's a trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think Marvel people are just more. They're more willing to like. It's so weird because they'll complain and they'll talk shit like, oh yeah, there's too many Batman books, but then like X-Men fans, for instance, like there's so many X-Men books, and they're like, all right, what's the X-Men book? Throw it in there, like, you know.
That doesn't matter. It has an X on
Yeah.
it. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I've seen those.
And then there's like those little purists, like I'm surprised that we have 4 or 5, maybe more, of people on the poll list.
Mm-hmm.
They just get everything Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man, and then like it's trippy because I mean everyone likes Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
but these people are like dedicated to Spider-Man.
Well, I remember back in the Galaxy days, there was a dude, all Supermans, just Superman.
Mm-hmm.
It just said on his pull card, all Supermans.
Yeah.
You know, annuals, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
tie-ins. If this is a Batman with Superman,
Yeah,
he wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But the Marvel people are pretty hardcore, man.
It seems that way.
They love their variants.
Okay, next one, Amalgam people.
Oh man.
For those who don't know, Amalgam was the greatest time in comics ever.
You know, it's funny. Like, actually, it gained some weird revival right now. Because
Dark Claw.
Yeah, no, people are discovering this stuff because of like podcasts like the Cartoonist Kayfabe and all that.
Yeah,
they've been talking about this stuff, and people are like, "What is that?" Is that, you know? And I'm like, "No." I mean, there was some fun things in there.
Dark Claw.
Yeah,
it was so awesome. You know that the Green Lantern
X-Men?
was
No,
it
was it was a Green Lantern Iron Man.
Oh, there you go.
And then there was like an X-Men Doom Patrol.
No,
X-Force Doom Patrol. It was like the Chief and Cable merged.
And, okay, again, I don't remember. Lobo the Duck.
Lobo the Duck.
I remember getting that. I remember being excited because I saw Lobo the Duck, and I'm like, "What is this?" They told me it's not quite Hard the Duck, it's not quite Lobo, and I was like, "I like both of them."
Yeah, so you know,
yeah.
Yes, that's getting a weird like resurgence. Like people are like looking into that stuff now, and that's like.
And those are the weirdest people of them all. Yeah. If you're excited for Amalgam, I want to talk to you later.
Well, Amalgams were cool as far as like the creative teams, man. I think like Mark Waid wrote those. What is it called? Super Soldier, which is Captain America
and Superman.
Yeah, he wrote both of those, and I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Jeez.
And then what was it? Like I think in those books, they merged Sergeant Rock and Nick Fury.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I think they were Fury Rock or something like that. Yeah,
that just sounds like too much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a little over the top there.
Then it was like Bucky and Jimmy Olsen or something like that. It was really weird.
Well, Superman's Captain America. That makes sense.
Well, the origin of that was really dark. It was like oh, freaking Superman's ship had crashed, and the baby died, and so like the scientists took the remains of the baby and like was able to break down his DNA and make a formula.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really dark.
You're gonna get people involved, and you're gonna get people excited by the stop it.
It was really dark, man.
Wow. Anyway, wow.
Then it was, JLX. It was a Justice League X-Men.
Ah, there you go. I can remember.
And it was like a weird one that they just like they just feel like what was it? There was like Castle and Princess or something. It was like the Punisher and Wonder Woman.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And there was a Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That one I do remember. Yes. Okay, yeah, and there was a lot of little titles like that, and they were all one shots, right?
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, they all were one shots. There was they only did it twice, so there's 2 sets of them.
Oh, that's why.
And I think the coolest one was like people were just like kind of blew their mind was Doctor Strange Fate.
Yeah.
But then it was like Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate, and so Doctor Strange with the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
When he took the helmet off, Charles Xavier. And we're like, what the fuck? Like.
Twist.
Yeah, right.
What a twist. Yeah. So these are the Marvel and DC and the Amalgam people.
The Amalgam people.
And we didn't even touch on like Image or Dark Horse people who are like probably wearing leather right now.
Yeah, I don't feel like there is Image and Dark Horse people. I think there's like these indie people.
Oh.
And there's a lot of these people that like they just feel like mainstream comics is garbage, and I need to read outside the box.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some really cool stuff, Image and all that. But I mean, it's just fun, man. Like mainstream comics are just fun.
And you do still get your Superman and you still get your X-Men's in those independent books, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, you said Invincible. The dad's basically Superman.
He's basically Superman. Like there's so many Superman archetypes. You know. Like,
yeah. So even though you're calling it, I mean, you're still reading a Superman book, kind of, sort of.
At the end of the day, like it's still
Ubermatch.
I don't know. Those are a whole other kind of people, man. Just like it's just like like.
We didn't even touch on those people.
No, there's a lot of those people, which is because when Jeff Johns went over to Image, there was a lot of people just like, oh, he's a fucking DC guy, and like it's gonna be dumb. And I feel like when he went over to Image, he was like, oh, what's the weirdest thing I could do that DC wouldn't allow me to do, and let's do that.
That's a good way to go. Yeah, that'll get off a lot of your chest, if you will.
Because I remember like when they were gonna relaunch Vertigo, like 10 years ago. They relaunched it with a Jeff Johns book, and it just wasn't very good because I think he was still trying to write in like his DC style.
Oh,
and it was just goofy. Like it was about this it's about these people that had been possessed by demons, and they became exorcists. So like kind of Ghostbusters, but then it was kind of goofy because they would be like fighting demons, and he'd be like, "Oh well, when this happened to me, I went into a coma. Like I didn't wake up from an 8-year coma to die like this." And it's like, oh, it's so goofy. Like,
but you read it.
I did,
and it's stuck in your mind. You still remember.
Yeah.
So as goofy as that was, you enjoyed it.
And it's just like you're like, oh, this is just Jeff Johns' years of freaking writing superhero comics. Like, this is how you talk in a superhero comic, and I get it. But
Gadzooks.
Yeah.
Gee Willikers.
But it's just
why can't we talk like that anymore?
We could
explain everything as we talk.
Yeah. What's it? It's funny because I was writing the script the other day, and like I can't. Like I hate. I mean, I get why they do it, but I hate those early like late 90s or 2000 superhero comics where you have the narrator is the main character, and they're talking about what's going on, and then you're like, first, who are they talking to? Like, like you. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but then I hate when it's like you can get away with like, oh, it's the monologues going on in their head, but then they're like, but I'm the fastest man alive.
So they're talking to you. Yeah. I've always said it. They're talking to me.
But that's weird.
No, it's not, because that's a whole immersion thing. He's coming into your life and talking directly to you. Listen, Peter, I am the fastest man alive. Don't tell the girls that, but
I don't know. It's a style.
It's a
style, and I think.
And again, also, I guess we all have our own style. That's why someone's pick up Marvel, someone's pick up DC.
Yeah.
I guess at the end of it all, we're all a little bit weird.
It's comics, man. And I think that's the thing that I always try to tell people. You don't need to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Just whatever you want to read, it's whatever you want to read,
Whatever tickles your fancy. Yeah. If you don't know, we're here to help.
Exactly.
All right. So, I mean, I think we just basically covered like maybe a sliver of this. So we'll probably leave it for more discussion up ahead. If you guys have any more thoughts or comments, please let us know. Even though it's second issue, we'd like to hear like to hear from you. So that ends it. Marvel people, right on. DC people, right on. The rest of you, still right on.
Amalgam people, oh, you're weird.
You're still weird.
You're weird.
I love you still. It's all right. Okay, then. That's the end of that segment. Yeah. Okay, and we're back. So we're just looking at Daniel Radcliff is going to be our next Wolverine.
Why do people want that? I don't understand it.
I do not understand myself. But can you see him with the hair?
Maybe.
I think he's too skinny.
Yeah.
What did I see him recently? And I saw him. He's like, dude, you need to grow some.
Did you see that? The Guns Akimbo?
That is fun.
Yeah.
That was so dumb.
I mean, we had that weird facial hair, like kind of, like, maybe.
Maybe Wolverine, like when he was 19, 20. Even though he's like older than that, I know.
Well, I mean, it's a comic accurate Wolverine. He's a small dude.
He is a small dude.
He
is a small dude.
But I think that Hugh Jackman was Wolverine for so long at this point, like that's people's image of Wolverine.
Yeah, and he was perfect from day one, even though he was really skinny in the first one.
Yeah,
he wasn't very Wolverine-esque until like the second one,
which is funny because he got ripped for like the prequel.
Yeah,
you're like, well, what happened? like.
It's okay. Deadpool retconned all that.
Yeah,
so we're good. We're good.
That's the problem, man. I think whoever gets cast as Wolverine is like fucked, man. I mean, like they're
Like,
always gonna be compared to
yeah, Mr. Jackman.
Which means after freaking Logan, man, you gotta like just retire that character.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end it, if anything.
Oh yeah.
I know everybody wants him back.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm excited for the fact that Patrick Stewart's in Multiverse of Madness, but it's like that was a good send off for that character too. Like,
he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Daniel
Radcliff. Huh?
Interesting.
I mean, that's as furthest away you can get from Harry Potter, right?
Yeah. From real books to comic books.
I think that's what he's trying to do. Like, I think
hopefully he does it. Oh, Miracle Workers. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
That I like him in that.
Yeah, no, he's really good in that.
He's very again, but I can't see much Wolverine. But all those different characters he's played in that, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, he's really good. I think he's really good in comedies and stuff like that. He's trying to get away from that whole Harry Potter. That's what he's still known for. Like,
I don't know him for that. I know him for Swiss Army Man.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. So yeah. So what else is going on, Lenny?
What else is going on?
Yeah. It's been a week since we recorded last.
Right, and we saw Morbius.
We did see Morbius last week, and we saw Sonic.
I saw Sonic too. Yeah. I think the interesting about Morbius is that like I went into it thinking it was gonna be terrible, but everyone's giving such bad reviews, and
I was scared.
It's all right.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I nodded off in the beginning.
Yeah.
But once it picked up, I was okay with it. Once he was wearing the purple, I was all right.
Yeah, right.
The purple gown.
Like, it was all right. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was bad. It was just
I would say it's the same thing with Venom. The first Venom I saw, and I thought I was like, that was okay. I had a good time. I didn't have a bad time.
Yeah.
But
I think ironically, the reason I wanted to see it was to find out how it tied into everything especially after like a movie like No Way Home.
For that 4 seconds,
and I feel like that was like the worst part of the movie. Like,
it made no sense.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
And I thought it was all right. I mean, it gave it. I don't think they're gonna do a Morbius 2 anytime soon because do you hear about that? Like, it did well the first weekend.
Okay.
And it dropped off like 89% in the second weekend.
Well, Sonic came out the second weekend, so Sonic just blurred past them.
But see, I'm wondering if that's like a thing now because of the streaming and all that. Like, I think if you don't see it, if people that want to see it are gonna go, I a movie like that, I don't think it's like, I don't think people are gonna tell them like, oh, you should go see this. You know what I mean? I think it's
No, I'm not gonna tell anyone to go see Morbius. If someone asks me how was Morbius, I'm like, you want to spend $7 going on Tuesday?
Yeah, right. It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonic was fun.
I think Sonic was better than Morbius.
Yeah,
I had more fun at Sonic.
It was fun. It's funny because I didn't watch that first one right away. I didn't watch it until it was on Hulu.
Uh-huh.
I remember seeing the trailer and I remember seeing the original trailer when before they changed the
eyeballs.
The character design, and it was funny because it didn't bother me. Like, I was just like, I don't really care. Like, I've never been a big Sonic guy, so I'm like, I don't really care. But then when I finally saw the first movie, I go, I get why they had that original design. Because he just looks like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. Like, he looks like a cartoon character in the real world.
Yeah.
Where that one, as bad as it looked, it was trying to look like a real living thing.
Yeah.
And I think.
And that's where they end up going wrong.
Yeah.
But as soon as they made it into more cartoony, all the cartoon or all the Sonic heads were like, oh, that's my Sonic. My Sonic. I said that's my Sonic once they changed the eyes because it had the little gap in between and everything, the white. And I was like, oh, wow, that actually looks video game accurate, And I was a big Sonic guy. Sega was the first cartridge you got.
But the thing is, I still to this day have this conspiracy theory in my head that whole thing was just a gimmick. Like, I don't think they ever intended
to release it with those eyes.
With that version.
They just wanted to see what people.
Yeah, because think about it, people were talking about it way more. So to the point where they changed it. Like, I think that was always the plan, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was one of the first instances where viewer backlash or whatever, fan backlash actually affected the movie, and that was that big thing, regardless of,
Which is a good thing and a bad thing, though, man, because I think, like, because of that, you do embolden a lot of people. Like, if I complain long enough, they'll do,
do as I say.
Yeah. But No, but I get it was fun. It was entertaining. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to realize it's a kids movie because like it was pretty silly.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. As much as Knuckles was, you know, badass, he was pretty dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
like, even like all the subplots of like with her friend getting married, and it was like all like a ruse, and it was kind of silly.
That made no sense.
Yeah,
and like the guy was all
it was weird.
Well, it's one of those like, oh, that guy's too good for her. Oh, it was. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
Give her wedding.
Yeah, no, it was fun though.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, the best.
Yeah,
I don't think he was like a main character this time around. Really, he was kind of just there for the ride, just fucking shit up.
But see, I think what I really enjoyed about this one and like the first one, it's classic Jim Carrey. It's 90s Jim Carrey, you know, where he's having fun and like he's not taking it too seriously and like, you know.
Yeah. I think he had been going through a lot, and I think for him to do something like that, it's kind of like, you know, he knows what to do. He's been doing his own. Yeah, he's doing it. But I don't know. That man looks sad sometimes.
Yeah, I think he lives in his head too much. I think like, you know, he's always talking about like metaphysical stuff and whatnot. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
As a guy who lives in his head, I understand. You know,
I think that's the thing. You know, like because Jim Carrey, he kind of went from like that silly, goofy movies to like
Spotless Mind.
Yeah, and then like even like what's it, fucking Truman Show.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's pretty heavy, man.
In case I don't see you, good evening.
Yeah. It's a pretty heavy movie, man. Like, you know.
Well, imagine your whole life was being recorded. Right? Imagine this was fake. Imagine this, you know, all this that's happening now. Things happen for a reason, Malini.
That's true.
Do you think it's that producer just dropping the package?
Well, think about it though. Like, that movie's way ahead of its time because I mean that's what happens now. Like, people live in a bubble and people live on
your little phone.
Yeah.
And we watch people as they wake up.
Yeah.
We watch people as they transition to the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Good night, all.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like the people I talk to online almost every day that I have never met in person, like, you know,
like years talking to them and never.
It's like, you know.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, it's like what they say: the internet made the world bigger and smaller at the same time. You know,
that is a good assessment.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, then they set up. We're getting into Sonic, right? I mean, they have to.
Yeah, you got a Knuckles now. You got a Shadow. Sorry, that's what I was going to say. You got a Shadow now.
I mean, they gotta do it. They gotta do it at this point. You know?
But are they going to bring in like Dr. Eggman's dad for the next one? Because he was part of that whole Shadow project and Maria. And don't get me started, dude. I could go on. Sonic could be a whole other topic.
Yeah. But I never had a Sega growing up, so like I played Sonic, but I was never like really into it.
Up, down, left, right. I'm sorry.
But I love how like you know, we're doing all these shared universes now, and they all have like their similar like knockoff Marvel logos.
Yeah,
I love that Sega one. It's just like, because we wondered about, is there going to be a Golden Axe movie? Like
they had it. They had Moonwalker on that.
Moonwalker.
I was like, wow.
Like in Comic Zone, is there a Comic Zone movie?
Ooh. I used to like. I used to hit the panel and break to the next scene. Jeez.
You know. I mean, all these shared universes, they could do all that. I mean, they could, you know.
So eventually, it's gonna be Golden Axe and Sonic.
Yeah,
for sure.
I watch that
versus Death Adder and freaking Robotnik. I love it.
Or like, how was it? There was a joke that when Detective Pikachu came out around the same time as the first Sonic, and there was a joke about how like, the Detective Pikachu should have ended with like Sonic showing up, and be like, I'm recruiting you for the freaking Smash Bros. Universe.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Because we're gonna get Nintendo movies, right? And Mario Bros. Movies coming out this year
with Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
your best Mario ever. Calling it now.
I mean, I guess.
Sorry, don't quote me on that.
Or Bob Hoskins.
Hey, he's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
R.I.P. Bob.
But I'm saying, like, you know, like, hopefully that does well, because then you're going to get more. You know, I would love to see a Mega Man movie. I'd love to see a freaking, you know, Legend of Zelda movie. Like, you know, like.
No more Street Fighter movie? No, that's Capcom.
I mean,
it has to be a Nintendo movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, Smash Brother movies can totally at that point, Smash Brother movie. Let's go beat up a Master Hand.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wants a shared universe. Why not just do it? You know.
10 years.
Yeah, probably
10 years. I'm gonna be old and gray.
I remember my little sister asked me, "Oh, why don't they do a Marvel versus DC movie?" I'm like, when they do that, they're out of ideas.
Yeah,
like it's over. Like,
that's the biggest shark you can jump.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Unless you make an amalgam movie.
Yeah,
going back to that.
But I think, well, yeah, it was fun. I think we're all waiting for freaking Doctor Strange, which
it's gonna open up paths.
I don't know, man. I'm very concerned because I think they're promising too much, and I'm like worried that it's not going to deliver, man.
You know what? All the X-Men movies are now going to make sense.
Yeah, I think they're promising too much, and I'm nervous, man. I think I'm going in with high expectation. I don't want to do that.
I've told you, don't do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going in with the madness in my head.
Yeah. They were like, what's the last No Way Home? Like. That was so much. They hyped it up so much that I was just like, oh man, I don't know. And even though people were telling me like, oh yeah, they're all gonna be in there, I'm like, I'm not gonna believe it till I see it.
Yeah.
Like,
but they weren't in there all. We kind of,
Yeah. But the Doctor Strange was there. I feel like that's the bad thing about having these big movies like this is that like you have to top it. You have to keep topping it.
Yeah, that's why Tobey Maguire is going to be in Madness.
Yeah, I mean that's what they said, right?
See,
that's what they're saying.
We're trying to top it. Right? See, even the theories are always trying to top each other.
See, that's the bad part of the whole thing because like the Star Wars fans are the worst at this, but like they have so many theories that when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh, the movie in my head is better than what you guys did. This movie sucks.
Grogu is actually Yoda.
Yeah, right.
In the future he's gonna time travel. What?
But you know what I mean? Like I think it's just that's why I try not to like. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just, it's gonna whatever happens, and
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go into these things now.
Because even Marvel has come out and said that like they purposely give you like trailers with misleading footage, so you can't figure it out. Like it's just like, I mean, people end up doing it, but
So why isn't Patrick Stewart in there? So it's not him?
No, see that's the thing. Okay, look at like Spider-Man No Way Home. The first trailer they showed you freaking Alfred Molina. And it was like, oh crap! Like they're gonna show, and then at that point you realize if they're showing us Alfred Molina, there's something way bigger. So the fact that they showed us Patrick Stewart or like alluded to Patrick Stewart, that means that's not even the biggest thing in that movie.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
are we thinking Illuminati here?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, so we're gonna get Submariner, Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Which Mr. Fantastic?
I don't know. Miles Teller?
I'm okay with that. He's all right.
But I think that's the thing that got me was like, if they're willing to show us this, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
They could be more.
It could be way more. I mean, it's a Sam Raimi movie, so Bruce Campbell's in it. Like he has to.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell in the Marvel. Well, he beat up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's the only one that tried to pull Spider-Man.
So I mean, I don't know, man. I think the hype for that movie is.
We'll see.
I think that's the biggest hype for a Marvel movie since they came back. I think
that's the Avengers of this.
Yeah.
One. But this is including the What If and the WandaVision and all these little things.
That's the thing that I think that's interesting is that like it's. See, that's the part. It's a thin line between like rewarding you for seeing all that and punishing you for not seeing all that. You know what I mean? Like,
so for those people who didn't see WandaVision and we see Wanda doing her Wanda stuff,
you're not gonna understand.
We're like, why is she doing that?
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole season you gotta watch.
Yeah. I think that's a scary line to cross to be on. Because I like the idea. Like MCU movies so far have been like, if you didn't watch this, cool. If you did, there's some little Easter eggs for you.
Yeah.
But you're still going to understand it. I'm worried we're going to get to a point where you have to watch everything. And if you don't, it's not going to make sense. And that's a scary future, man.
Well, the tie-ins, you were talking earlier about the tie-ins. Tie-ins make everything whole.
Dude, and I think that's where we're going to because they're doing another Captain America, but with Falcon.
Oh,
so you have to watch that show.
But we already knew this was going to happen even before the show. Yeah. Okay. So we kind of knew that going in.
Yeah.
So this is actually a prequel then, the show.
The show's a prequel to this next movie.
Yeah. So it's Captain America 4. Mm-hmm. Are we going to put a 4 in front of it?
Yeah, supposedly.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, because Captain America movies, they don't do that. They do the subtitles. So it's like, Winter Soldier, Civil War.
Yeah.
So we're getting something.
Captain America, Falcon.
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be Captain America and Bucky?
Yeah, well, I think that was the coolest thing was like I rewatched the Falcon Winter Soldier recently, and those shows work really well if you just sit like binge them because it feels like a movie. It feels like a long movie. But I remember I totally forgot about that. Like, the end of that last episode when they're all happy they won and he's Captain America now, and then the end credits change to Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
I think that would be a great title for the
next
movie.
Oh, wasn't that the title of the show?
No, it was Falcon.
So you just want straight out Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America, and because that
solidifies it.
Yeah, solidifies it. It solidifies that they're partners. It solidifies that this is the sequel to this show. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's a good title.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah,
I like it.
But apparently, the people that worked on the show are going to be working on this movie.
Okay,
it should be interesting.
So we know what we're getting, kind of.
Like, yeah, kind of.
I mean, action-wise, it was all right.
Yeah.
So
it's a great show, man. Like the freaking second to last episode when they freaking beat up John Walker. It's such a good.
There's one episode in there that was the boat episode.
Yeah,
that was a little weird, right?
Kind of, but it was cool because you're like, oh, they're finally getting along. They're like, you know.
I guess that's what it was for. But it took a whole episode for that to happen.
Well, it's also like it's an interesting thing because it's like magic. Like it's like they were never like buddies.
No.
They just had a mutual buddy, and now that mutual buddy's gone. Like, and now they have to like deal with that. You know, like it's interesting because
what do we do? I mean, we were never friends, you know, but now that our friend is gone, how are we gonna be friends? What do we have in common? What kind of music you listen to? What kind of comic books you reading?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like the only thing they had in common was Steve.
Yeah,
like
they both got something from Steve, you know, which is what made them. You know, so that's where they started bonding. It's like, oh, I get you. You get me.
So I remember when Endgame came out and he did the whole thing where he gives the shield to Sam. Whatever. I remember it kind of bugged me because I felt that all those movies were setting up Bucky. Taking the mantle. But then when that show came out and you basically realized he didn't want to put Bucky through that shit. Yeah. Like he was like, oh, you've gone through a lot. I can't do this to you. Yeah. And it made so much sense.
And even then the Falcon was like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think this is for me.
Well, it's a more interesting story too, because it's like, you know, it's like racism in the country. Like, you know, like, are we going to have a black Captain America? Or are people going to be cool with that? You know?
I'm cool with it.
And the thing is, like, it's a real thing, man, because when they did that in the comics, so many people got mad.
Really? When the Falcon became Captain America? Well, I mean, if that's the case, what about when Captain America was black before Captain America was the truth?
That was like a weird. That was like I think. See, that's another one that I feel that people didn't really pick up on. And like there was people that knew about it. Yeah. I think that was like when Marvel was in the Marvel Knights and it was pushing that whole indie agenda where like.
Well, was Kyle Baker.
Kyle Baker did it, yeah. And he wasn't like he'd never done a Marvel book, and in that book I feel like that was still even at the time. People talked about it, but I still think they didn't read it. Like,
they didn't take it serious.
Yeah. And then once they made it canon, which was like, whoa, wait a minute, like, because I felt that book, because there was that other book, was it Trouble? Yeah. And it was like the Young Aunt May book.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't canon though.
Promiscuous.
Yeah. So I felt that like Truth, as much as I liked it, I'm like, oh, this is a weird little like what if type of thing. Yeah. And then when Young Avengers came out, they were like, no, this is
Patriot.
Yeah, he's there, and that's his grandfather. And I'm like, oh crap, this is it's canon now, you know. Yeah. And I really didn't pick up on that. And then once they talked about it in the show, those books shot up. Oh, people started looking for those books. People started like, you know,
they finally saw the truth.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, you're gonna expect me to believe that people experiment on white people.
Yeah, right.
That was the biggest thing. Yeah.
No, and it made sense too because he was gone that whole time, and you know, like and so it made sense, you know.
And then another thing was, it kind of, when it happened in the Winter Soldier, it gave me closure to that story because he was like, yeah, I didn't want to do that shit. Yeah. I kind of left away from that. Yeah. That made sense. But you do see his grandson.
Yeah. So they're saying that. Well, they're definitely doing a Young Avengers at some point in some form or another. I mean, every show has introduced a Young Avenger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Batman has,
because you have a freaking, well, they did. Yeah, because it was like Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, and then Falcon Winter was a Patriot, and then
Batman,
Wanda
Stature,
Stature, and then Wanda,
the twins,
boys, yeah, and then
we need a Wiccan and a Hulkling.
Well, we have Wiccan, we just don't have Hulkling yet.
Well, and Wanda.
And then they're doing Secret Invasion, so we're gonna get Hulkling.
He was a Skrull. He was a Skrull.
So
we're set.
Yeah, and even go Loki. They have the kid Loki. He was part of that team.
He was right on.
He was part of a version of that team.
We're set.
Yeah, and then we got America Chavez coming out in Doctor Strange. So she was in a version of that team.
Oh,
yeah. So
there's enough for
a whole
Young Avenger run.
Yeah.
America Chavez and the Patriot. I want to see that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's very America.
Someone pointed out and then I kind of want to see it now. It's like they said they should do a Disney Plus show called Hawkeye and Black Widow, and it's Kate Bishop and Yelena.
Oh,
like just the way that they interacted in that show, like that would be fun.
You thought that worked?
You like that?
I don't know. I shrugged my shoulder. Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah. But
I think Yelena below, like I don't know, she's really fun. Like it's just like just goofy but she's like a badass and I don't know.
It's totally opposite of the Black Widow. That's what she wears white.
Yeah. But they're saying all that up, man. Like I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they announced like, oh, we're doing a freaking Young Avengers. I think it would have to be a Disney Plus show, man. Because I guess it could be a movie too, because they've introduced all these characters. So, if you do like classic Avengers where you bring them all together and
you get that one iconic scene.
Yeah. And then it'd be cool because if you did the original Young Avengers, they brought back Vision to find them all. It'd be kind of cool if they brought back that white Vision from Wonder Vision to be,
Wasn't that Vision also kind of like in a kid body though?
Yeah. But it'd be kind of cool because he's like, he doesn't really have his memories.
Oh, so it's fresh. Okay. But it wouldn't be played by, what's his name?
No, it could be him. I think it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Can't de-age him.
Yeah, maybe. Well, no, his Vision. He's all CG anyways, man. Like,
all right.
And I think it'd be really screwed up. Imagine if his kids are on that team and he's like, I don't know who you are. Like, right?
But Daddy, you said you'd love me forever.
Because I'm wondering if they're going to recast the kids because...
they have to. They're old.
Yeah, like... Unless they're going to leave them little kids. That'd be interesting.
Well, grow up. By the time they get like 2-3 years, it'll probably be enough, right?
Yeah, because they went super young. The actors playing America Chavez, he's like 15 in real life.
No.
Yeah, so they went really young. Like
he looks older, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's just... Disney Plus, man. It opened up a lot of doors.
Gonna watch Moon Knight tonight.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I never thought I'd have a Moon Knight TV show. Like,
never thought I'd see a Morbius movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool with a Moon Knight TV show. I don't understand what the hell's going on, but
well, you know what? I never understood in the first place, so I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying it more than people that know.
Yeah,
Knight, because I don't know it.
Yeah,
and that could be another topic.
Oh yeah, Moon Knight is different. It's weird.
Yeah,
Egyptian gods.
Sailor Moon Knight.
Yeah. It's pretty much what it is.
Those memes have been getting to me, man. Sailor Moon Knight.
I think that's the one thing I love about these shows is it opens up the fandom. You get people that get Moon Knight fan art, like that. No, I never expected to see that.
They'll come in and ask for Moon Knight.
Yeah,
I just saw the show, but I want to see if it's the same.
No, it's not.
I'm shaking my head. But here you go.
Yeah, have fun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So he went to the deep end, and
before you go into madness, you come back throwing it in my face. You bastard! Why did you give me? That was for my 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
But it's just it's fun, man. I think, and I tell you what, Disney Plus, man. Like, dude, we're getting a freaking Werewolf by Night special, Halloween special this year.
JJ?
No. It's the original Werewolf by Night.
Oh.
I forget his name, but and it's what's his face too. It's the guy that makes movies with Diego Luna all the time.
Diego Luna, but it's Bernal.
Yeah,
something Bernal.
He's gonna be the Werewolf by Night.
I'm in.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even know about this, and I am in. Diego Bernal is.
Yeah, he's gonna be the Werewolf by Night. And we're getting that like in October, I think.
Wow.
And then in December, we're getting a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
With the original cast.
Yeah, and they're filming it while they were filming the movie. And basically James Gunn is like, I'm doing the Star Wars Christmas special with the Guardians.
Because it went so well, right? It went over so well.
So, I mean, like, see, that stuff we couldn't have before Disney Plus.
You know? You're right. No studio would say go with that.
So it's a good thing, man. Like to freaking the What If cartoon won a freaking Emmy. Like,
it did win an Emmy.
And it's really good.
I enjoyed every episode.
And ironically, the one thing that I didn't like, well, not that I didn't like about it, but the one issue with it is they brought back all the original cast.
Uh-huh.
And it's cool, but a lot of them aren't voice actors.
No.
So it just didn't work, like
you couldn't see it happening.
No.
Okay.
It was just like, oh yeah, I know that's Paul Rudd, and I know that's what, but it doesn't sound right.
You know what? I was fine with it.
Yeah.
And because you know what, one thing that you can do all that in the TV shows. You can't do that anywhere else, but in that cartoon.
Yeah.
And that sets you all up for this madness thing.
Yeah.
So,
dude, Marvel Zombies TV show, like.
I am excited, but at the same time, I don't really, I'm a big fan of zombies. I think they're the best type of monster. Every monster is a zombie.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, every zombie.
But it's we're getting off to the stuff that we couldn't have had without Disney Plus.
It's a good time to be a nerd.
Yeah, like that Hawkeye show. I really enjoyed that Hawkeye show. If without Disney Plus, they would have never made that a movie. That movie would never have made.
Nope.
Because it sucks that people don't go see it.
And you know what? They learned their lesson when Netflix started doing all that stuff. As soon as Netflix started, like the Defenders and all that, they were like, "Oh my God, there is money to be made."
Oh
there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Although I still think, I don't know if I would go do it. Maybe once or twice, but I feel like they're leaving money on the table. They should have like one night only, whatever, and they should show the first 2 episodes on the big screen.
On the big screen, like a movie.
I think that'd be cool. I did that for that. We did that for that Inhumans thing. It's a terrible TV show, but it was cool because it was like it was produced by IMAX, so that it looked really good on the big screen.
Do you think people would go weekly to go see something like that?
Oh no. I think if you did like the first 2 episodes, maybe like the Wednesday before
issue
it
3
dropped or whatever, I think that would be cool. But yeah, I don't think we'd do it weekly. No.
No more cereals and stuff.
No. I would probably do it, but
yeah, it's the way things go.
Yeah.
So right, we're gonna be coming to a close now, and with that, I guess we're gonna be turning in. I want to thank again my good friend Melina here for letting me use his store, letting me use his equipment for this second issue of ComiCentric. I want to thank you, the listener, for actually listening to the second issue of ComiCentric, and I hope to see you next week. See you.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Hopefully next week we'll think of another topic by then. We have several, but we'll pick one from the hat and we'll go from there.
There you go.
And that sounds good. And hopefully we'll get to see you there. Again, thank you very much, and hopefully have a good rest of your day.
Yeah.
Night, evening, or whatever. I keep messing that up.
You can't, because you don't know when they're listening to this.
I did the same thing last time.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.